Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to put on our diagnostic hats. We're going to completely demystify those terrifying camera error codes that always seem to pop up at the worst possible moments. And we'll build a solid step-by-step diagnostic protocol to save your expensive gear.
We've all been there, right? You feel that sudden sinking panic when an error message flashes on your LCD right before a massive shoot. It honestly feels like a death sentence for your equipment. But I am here to reassure you right off the bat. Most of these errors are incredibly common, totally understandable, and completely fixable, if you know what to look for. So, here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the dreaded error message, move on to step-by-step diagnostics, cover basic preventative maintenance, and finish up with exactly when you need to call in the professionals.
All right, let's jump into Section 1, the dreaded error message. When we break down the most common error categories, it really puts things into perspective. A scary Canon Error 01, for example, usually that just means your camera body and the lens are, well, struggling to talk to each other. It's rarely a broken internal motor, it's usually just a simple connection issue. Conversely, memory card errors point straight to your storage media, while a sensor failure points to an actual internal hardware malfunction.
Get this. Nearly 60% of camera owners face some sort of technical hurdle within their very first 3 years. So, if you're seeing these messages, you are absolutely not alone. But ignoring these early warning signs, that can lead to the permanent degradation of your images or even a completely dead camera. Moving right along to Section 2, Step-by-Step Diagnostics.
Okay, so when you're troubleshooting, the trick is to eliminate variables in a very specific order. Step 1 is literally just a hard reset. Take the battery out for 30 seconds to clear any corrupted memory. Step 2, verify your storage by inspecting, reinserting, or swapping out the memory card. And Step 3, address those communication errors by actually cleaning the physical contacts between the lens and the camera body.
Now, what if your images are coming out completely blown out or just pitch black? You might have a shutter issue. There's a super quick visual check you can do for this. Just set the camera to manual, disable the flash, look straight down the barrel of the lens, and fire. If you don't see a little flicker of mechanical movement in there, your shutter is unfortunately jammed.
But hey, sometimes the error isn't a glaring warning message. It's just soft images. To check if your lens optics are misaligned, which is called being decentered, there's a great 5-minute manual focus test. You mount it on a tripod, turn off stabilization, open the aperture wide, and put a distant target right in the center. Lock your focus, and then physically move the camera to place that exact same target in all 4 corners without refocusing. Then compare the sharpness. If one corner is a blurry mess and the others are sharp, well, you've got a decentered lens.
All right, Section 3, Basic Preventative Maintenance.
To fix that pesky ER01 communication glitch, you've got to clean those electrical contacts. But please, proceed with caution here. Do not, under any circumstances, use a wet cloth. And absolutely never touch those gold contacts with your bare hands. The natural oils and acids from your skin, they'll cause corrosion over time, which will eventually render the camera inoperable. Stick to a clean, dry microfiber cloth and just wipe gently. The true silent killer of your optics isn't a drop or a spill, it is lens fungus. It sounds gross, and it kind of is. This microbial growth looks like delicate spider webs or snowflakes deep inside your glass, and it thrives when you give it 3 things: humidity above 60%, absolute darkness, and organic material, like dust, to feed on.
And here's why this stuff is actually terrifying. It's not just some smudge you can wipe off. As the fungus feeds, it literally secretes organic acids like hydrofluoric acid. If you leave it untreated, these acidic byproducts will permanently etch the anti-reflective coatings and physically pit the surface of your expensive glass. Once that happens, no way around it, the optical quality is destroyed forever.
So what's your best defense? You have to starve these spores of the moisture and darkness they absolutely crave. Keep your ambient storage humidity right between 30 and 50%, using dry cabinets or airtight boxes with silica gel packets. Most importantly, take your lenses out of their dark camera bags occasionally. Give them a breath of fresh air and some indirect sunlight, because UV light naturally inhibits that fungal growth.
And finally, Section 4, When to Call Professionals.
Look, it is so vital to know your limits here. You can totally handle external cleaning, firmware resets, and basic card formatting at home. But internal mechanical failures, things like jammed shutters, realigning decentered lenses, or treating advanced fungus, those strictly require a professional. Trying to open up a lens yourself almost always ends in a complete disaster.
Prompt action is literally everything here. Putting off a pro repair for what seems like a minor symptom, like a slightly sticky shutter or just one tiny speck of fungus, almost always guarantees a massive invoice later on. A simple $100 cleaning can easily mutate into a $500 component replacement if you just let it fester.
So I'm going to leave you with this to chew on today. Are your current storage habits quietly destroying your optical investment in the dark? Remember, those error codes are a cry for help from your camera. Preventative care today is for sure the only way to guarantee you save the shoot tomorrow. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Now go check your humidity levels.